Stop. Take a breath, count to 3. How long does it take? Until once again, you will fall into the next consumption trap. Buying products that you don't need. Living the life you don't want.
She's the most Moschino Barbie ever!
Totally hot, totally cool.
Samsung Curved TV.
Ronald McDonald!
And down.
하ppyセットにスポンジボブ金曜から土日はこれも
A box is a square or rectangular container with stiff sides and sometimes a lid. A cardboard box, a cigar box, a matchbox, but it can also represent a small place with walls. Pollution is a contamination of air, water or soil by substances that are harmful to living organisms. Pollution can occur naturally, for example, through volcanic eruptions, or as the result of human activities, such as the spilling of oil or disposal of industrial waste. Plastic is any of a group of synthetic or natural organic materials that may be shaped when soft and then hardened, including many types of resins, resinoids, polymers, cellulose derivatives, casein materials, and proteins, used in place of another material as glass, wood, and metals in construction and decoration, for making many articles as coatings and drawn into filaments for weaving. Trend is a general development or change in a situation or in the way that people are behaving.
It is not possible to let the desires disappear. In most cases, we work hard and we want some kind of reward. We all live in a society in which objects around us are a huge part of ourselves. As Descartes said, Consumo, ergo sum, or something similar. Desire of possession is developing in very early stages. Raise hands who as a child didn't have his favorite toy, blanket, teddy bear, red Porsche, or Barbie. Almost everyone can remember at least one product with which they could identify himself in childhood. Those products may have huge impact on our behavior as a child. And this is not a problem if you could remember all other bumps and hills of plastic that your parents bought you during celebrations and other anniversaries. Most of those still exist somewhere in this world. After you grow up, it only gets worse. In this moment, we can raise an important question. How much do we see our belongings as an extension of our identity? Fundamental changes on a planetary system scale have already begun. The number of wild animals on Earth has halved in the past 40 years, according to a new analysis of WWF. creatures across land, rivers, and seas are being decimated as humans kill them for food in unsustainable numbers, while polluting or destroying their habitat. As stated by Professor Ken Norris, ZSL's Director of Science, if half the animals died in London Zoo, next week it would be front page news. While it's happening in wildlife, word remains untouched. Another big problem. According to a report by global industry analysts, plastic consumption has reached 297 million tons by the end of 2015. While more than 60% of the rubbish that ends up in the dustbin could be recycled. And those facts are only top of the iceberg. The list goes on, including massive deforestation in Brazil and Asia, economical frauds, chemical pollution, energetic and air pollution, mass meat production, antibiotics, so on and so forth.
The garbage dumped in the ocean every year is roughly around 40 billion pounds. Plastic is the major consistent. Approximately 46% of the lakes in America are extremely polluted and hence risky for swimming, fishing, and aquatic life. Children contribute to only 10% of the world's pollution, but are prone to 40% of global disease. Composting and recycling alone have prevented 85 million tons of waste to be dumped in 2010. A single person in the United States produces 2 kilograms of garbage every day. Plastic chemicals can be absorbed by the body. 93% of Americans aged 6 or older test positive for BPA, a plastic chemical. An estimated 299 million tons of plastic were produced in 2013. All sea creatures, from the largest to the microscopic organisms, are at one point or another swallowing the seawater soup instilled with toxic chemicals from plastic decomposition. The world population is eating fish that have eaten other fish, which have eaten toxin-saturated plastics. In essence, humans are eating their own waste.
Most of us see those problems. You are worried about it more or less. But there is some common belief that simply nothing can be done about it. It's not true. We can. You need to change the habits in daily life, starting from the most important thing, which is mentality. It is daily consumer choices that led big corporations to behave one way or another. From the simple acts like choosing right products that don't harm environment, swapping bike to your work. And eventually, if there's a need to buy all those plastic, make a little effort to recycle it after. Not making excuses and putting yourself in the next mind trap. In the time of the crisis, we all need bigger life changes. We should live side by side with nature and not killing it, turning our heads around. Aware yourself about the problems, and remember, it's not too late, unless you choose happiness instead of enjoyment.
Refuse. Avoid using single-use and disposable plastics like bags and bottles, straws, cups, plates, silverware, and razors. Reduce waste. Buy in bulk, buy vegetables and legumes without pre-packing, and look for products and packaging made from renewable resources. Choose products that have the least amount of disposable parts like toothbrushes with replaceable brushes. Consuming less will decrease the waste of unnecessary plastics. Become a responsible consumer. Reuse preferably non-toxic containers and goods to make less waste. Recycle is the last option. Be aware that many plastics are not recyclable and are accidentally lost into waterways and oceans. Further, in most countries, plastics cannot be recycled due to the lack of financial resources to have a recycle program. Educate with a smile. Think global, act local.